Now, earlier this week, a jumbo-sized ECB rate hike were baked into predictions. But those bets have quickly evaporated, with growing concerns about the health of Europe's banking sector.
Another bank is on the brink. We are talking about global investment bank Credit Suisse. Yesterday, its share price tanked. It dropped by more than 30%.
Fears grow over the stability of the banking industry.
The focus of investors and regulators then shifted to Europe from the United States.
If you look at the numbers, this is not a healthy bank because of the legacy issues, because of archegos, because of the misdemeanors that they've had here and there. And of course, it's only a couple of days ago that they said, look, they reported some things in not the way they should have. If you look at liquidity, though, the ratios are pretty strong. I mean, this is not SVB. This is a pretty healthy bank.
This morning, there are growing concerns over a banking crisis after the fall of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank.
And it's not just here in the U.S. Depositors overseas are also worried about the security of their money after more banking troubles in Europe. The Swiss bank Credit Suisse announced yesterday it will borrow nearly $54 billion from the Swiss central bank to shore up liquidity, and it will seek to repurchase debt.
The Swiss bank has seen its shares tumble this week, with billions of dollars wiped off its market value over concerns about its finances. So its shares fell by almost a third on Wednesday, at one point forcing the Swiss central bank, Credit Suisse, can borrow up to this much, $54 billion, to boost its bottom line if it needs it.
Markets fall in Europe and the US.
Credit Suisse shares shed around a quarter of their value.
We're scrutinising other banks more carefully, and Credit Suisse is seen as the weakest link.
After the collapse of those US banks, global financial stocks lost $465 billion in under 2 trading sessions.
And this fall is bigger than the Silicon Valley Bank because Credit Suisse is a much bigger bank. It is among the top 30 lenders in the world.
This is the second largest bank of Switzerland, once the pride of the Swiss banking industry. But now, it's a national embarrassment for the Swiss people. On Wednesday, the shares of the bank tumbled by as much as 25%. They fell to a record low of 1.56 Swiss francs per share.
Concerns over the troubled lender had earlier sent Asian stock markets falling. Credit Suisse has said it will borrow up to 50 billion euros from Switzerland's central bank.
Credit Suisse, which is a gigantic bank, is announced that they were on shaky ground, and one of their biggest financial backers also said they were not going to give them an infusion of cash, so that created more uncertainty in the market.
Traders' expectations for a 50 basis points hike have now fallen below 20%. The troubled Credit Suisse emerged as the biggest fallout from the collapse of 3 US banks.
In this video, we are going to cover what is happening in the banking sector and what is the reason behind that, and how you can save yourself from this kind of troubleness which is happening in this banking sector, and most importantly, how you can make more wealth from this banking sector. This is a really important aspect of the video for you. And let me start. The Credit Suisse, already so many people are aware about this bank, what is happening in the banking sector, and let me know a little bit about the Credit Suisse bank. This is the bank, the second largest bank of Switzerland and the largest bank of Europe, and in this bank there are 50,000 of people are lose their job, and $1.5 trillion, which is the net worth of this bank. Now let me know why this share price has been fallen very dramatically, which is falling almost 30% in just 1 hour. And there is a reason behind that. Most of the people are withdraw their money from their bank, and once they are try to withdraw their money, bank not able to repay their money, and they finally collapse. And the cost of insurance of their bond has been increased dramatically, and there is no one in the world those who really wanted to buy their bond. And this kind of troubleness which is happening in the banking sector, which is a bad news not just for Europe, it is a bad news for the world, and every country has been impacted through this banking sector. Through this, every single person has been impacted through this Credit Suisse bank, and that is happening in this world. And if the Federal Reserve has not take any step further to protect every country, then this is going to be a huge dramatically phase in future. Let me know what is happening in the back end of this bank. I know most of us are aware about what is going on in the bank, and you might be seeing most of the news, and you already know that what is going on in that bank and what is the reason behind that. Let me know about it a little bit. The Credit Suisse Bank having a bad luck because of this is the bank, Swiss bank, and this bank has been failed. Now, Credit Suisse Bank having a very bad luck because of their stupidity that has been done by their promoters, which is almost criminal. They cannot survive yourself by stopping that. Let me look at this last 3 years, what is happening the last 3 years and why this bank has been collapsed. The collapse has been not started in the last week. The collapse has been started in the last 3 years. The reason behind that, in 2020, the Credit Suisse Bank had a fine there all the senior employees and coming the force from the CEO of Swiss regulator. And the reason behind that, they have a doubt of this bank. All the top leaders of this bank have a doubt about the Swiss, and the reason behind that, they have been just spying there. All the senior employees, they have a doubt about their integrity. But the most interesting part over here is not just spying all the senior employees of this bank. The most interesting part over here is that they does not able to detect the quality of their senior employee, what they are doing and how they are working in this bank. There is a reason behind that, this kind of scandal which has happened in this year. If they are able to find by detectiveness and they are able to detect all these criminal charges and all these drug trafficking charges and all these government corruptions which is happening in the bank, then this kind of situation are not happening right now. There is a reason behind that this is happening is because of the spying people are not committed to their job, and this kind of thing is happening. Now let me know what is the allegations which is happening in the allegation of money laundering, and there is a scandal of the money laundering in the Switzerland bank, and the Federal Reserve has fined the Credit Suisse of guilty. They face a criminal trials and the largest bank. The depositor have bring illegal money, drug trafficking, government corruptions, etc. Bank drug trafficking from the Venezuela, from this Egypt, all around the world, and the US money from Europe, Russia. There are so many countries. Those leaders are deploy their money in this bank directly or indirectly. You can say, in other words, this is a bank good for bad money. If you have a bad money, if you earn your money in a black format, then you can save all your money in this types of Swiss bank, which is almost accept your all money which is earned from your black market, which is you earn from your black business. And this is happening in this case. In 2021, the Credit Suisse lost almost $5 billion from their private investment firm. The reason behind that, the $5 billion they lose their money, is that firm founder arrested for fraud. Now the Credit Suisse need more money to buy back all the shares, but no one ready to give more money to buy all the shares. The allegation of promoters. During the pandemic, the chairman of the Swiss bank resigned from this. The reason behind that they had been resigned from this job is that this man has been become the pro person. He has been arrested after he just enjoying out there all the tennis final game in London. After that, this man has been arrested in their own city. And here the CEO of Credit Suisse quote said, "We want to appropriately respond to the feedback which we had from SEC, and we did the lead into material weaknesses in the financial reporting control, which are as you would expect from us, addressing very forcefully with the appropriate actions." So Credit Suisse independent auditor PricewaterhouseCoopers, they issued the adverse opinion on the effectiveness on Credit Suisse internal control over financial reporting. Just look at the example, any large company, whether it is related to the bank, when they give up their own finances and once they have internal weaknesses, then this is really embarrassing and bad news for their company. And there is a main reasons why the most of the company has been failed in this scam. And the Saudi National Bank, now the largest shareholder of this Credit Suisse Bank, and he's not giving any more money for this bank. The spokesperson of the Saudi Arabia has been said about, we are not ready to give any money for this bank. He said that on Bloomberg interview. They currently own just under 10 of this company. They have owned just under 10% of this company and 10 Credit Suisse. So if they invest more money into the Credit Suisse, they will own more than 10% of the company. If they go above the threshold of this 10%, there is a burden regulatory requirement from the Swiss and from the European. He said that they are not willing to do. Again, he said that here is the primary reasons of the top of the 5 or other reasons. So in last decades, if you know that this bank has been lost almost $7 billion. In last decade, the entire profit has been run out, which is almost $7 billion. So the client has been pulled out their own money from this bank, which is almost $100 billion of asset. In just 3 months alone, they have been withdrawn from this bank. Should be really consider to diversify their risk and using another bank at least to buy some credit default, to protect yourself, to at least you can do some reasons behind that. I'm saying to you that the Europeans are going to react how they are protect their bank, and they are going to extend protection to them. So what they did, the state saw the treasury of the FDIC and the Federal Reserve are going to bail out the depositors. Now my message to the people, if you are just invested out their all money into the stock market, and this is the bad news for you. I know most of the people are lose their money in this stock market. Some of the people are lose their money 40%, 50%, and most of the people, those who are not aware about that market, they lose almost 19% of their money in this scam. And if you are not aware about what is going on in the market, how they work and how they format, and there's the reason behind that, you need to know more about them, because in every person's, then you will need to know how this market is function and which kind of topic to know, and which we need to focus in my mind, that how they work it in this market, which is really important for you to make more wealth from this stock market. More importantly, if you want to know about what is going on in the microeconomy, thank you. This is my side, and in the next video I will just show you how you can just make a good returns from this stock market. For that, you have to subscribe that YouTube channel and